becomes pretty like clear really quickly that they do know what they're doing. They're super patient. Like they answer questions that I have sometimes we do to do with home life, like how do we deal with this at home? So they're really knowledgeable. They're really good with kids. They're super patient.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
Actually, for us, it was very easy. We were looking for something close to work. So Kidz Kare is downtown by the Maple Leaf Square. So for us, that was kind of the biggest draw to the school. The second thing, because there are a few daycares around that area, was that it was more affordable than the rest of them. So that was great. And I guess the third thing was we went on their website and just kind of read about the school and the teachers, and we felt like this was a good choice. Yeah, so when he first started there, he was like 15 months old. So he obviously hated it because he didn't want to be away from us. But it didn't take him very long. I want to say by the end of the first week, he was actually like really into it. Um, he's definitely a lot smarter being there because there's stuff he says and does, and my husband and I look at each other and we're like, I didn't teach him that. Did you teach him that? It's like, no, I don't know where he got that from. And we'll ask him, and he's like, oh, I got it from preschool or from daycare or whatever it was. So yeah, very quickly he acclimatized. There are lots of great kids there, so he made like really good friends, which helps. And he loves the teachers, so that's also a plus. The food. He really really likes the food, which is great, because we were worried he'd be picky, but like I joke that they feed him better than we do at home. So I would say the food. I mean, he likes his friends and he likes the teachers, but if I had to ask him, definitely the food. I think definitely the teachers. I think like any parent would tell you, it's super difficult to take care of a kid. Not because they're hard work, but it's because you have to do other stuff as well. So it's really nice to be able to entrust them with professionals. And at first you're kind of like, oh, is everyone just winging this, or do they really know what they're doing? But it becomes pretty like clear really quickly that they do know what they're doing. They're super patient. Like they answer questions that I have sometimes we do to do with home life, like how do we deal with this at home? So they're really knowledgeable. They're really good with kids. They're super patient. So I would say that's probably my biggest, the biggest thing for me over there. I think the first thing that kind of the only thing actually that was kind of like a negative for us when we first started there was that because they're in a building, they're on the third floor of a building. So it didn't seem like they had that much outdoor space. I mean, we've gone up there now and we're used to it, and it's like a terrace, so it's not bad actually. But when we first got there, it was kind of like, ooh, like, are they going to have enough room to run around and whatnot? And very quickly we found out that yes, they do have enough room to run around. So, but that's the only thing I can kind of think of that was a negative for us. I think, let me think. Do you know what? Honestly, it just comes back to the teachers because I think it was the fact that so he was in a certain class with two teachers, I think, but it was a month into it, nearly all the teachers knew him and they'd say hi, and I think it was just that sense of it sounds super corny, but almost like community, like almost like a like okay, everyone knows everyone. This is good. Like he's comfortable. He's not feeling like isolated or anything like that. So I think it was that sense of coming togetherness, if I can put it that way. It was a good surprise because we had been in a daycare before that, and it was very almost cubed. Like this is your cube and this is your cube, but here it was a lot more integrated. So that was nice. Highest values. I would probably think independence. I think they try to teach the kids independence, which is great. Um, I think they don't baby them. I mean, they certainly take care of them, but they don't, they give them a chance. They give them some space to kind of grow into themselves and become more independent, which is very important to me as well, because it's good for a kid to learn that confidence and that independence really early on. So I don't know if this is one of their values, but that's what I perceived anyway. Okay. Well, because it is a school downtown, so most people work in the area, so it's working parents in the area. So that's one thing. Everyone's kind of, I guess, working class is what you would call it. There are also a lot who live in the area, like in the condos around. So you've got like a lot of young professionals, I'd say. What else about the parents? Everyone's nice. Most people are nice. I gotta, I know and talk to most of them, most of the parents, my son's class. Yeah, I guess the only real thing is we're all working professionals, young. Can I call myself young? Yeah, young working professionals. Yeah, that's like the biggest, I guess, market um, there. Yeah. Really good. I think I we deal more with the teachers because we see them daily and blah blah blah. Administration, I dealt with the owner who's super nice, very personable. The first few weeks there, she would take the time to stop you in the hallway and just, how's it going? I've seen your kid, like he seems to be doing better. So that was definitely nice to feel seen by the administrator in that sense. In terms of the management, I didn't really deal too much with them in the past. I have started dealing with them a bit more because COVID, and you've got more questions, and there are a lot more scenarios for that, and they've been very responsive. If we've had any concerns, like with regards to like drop off time or pickup time or things like that, they've been pretty flexible in terms of helping us kind of navigate and try to find a middle ground in that sense. So yeah, it's been positive, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, so it's a great program. Like I mentioned, the independence, and they learn a lot, they play a lot. Like it's always a good day. Second thing would probably be it's a convenient location, so it's really close to Union Station downtown. Especially if you work in the area or that's kind of a hub point for you, that's really convenient. And the third thing would probably be a value for money. So, I mean, we know daycare in Toronto is not cheap, but I have found that they've offered the best value for money. Like I said, he was at another daycare before, and it was just kind of like, what are we paying for? But here, like, you can actually see your kids improving. You can see them growing. You can see them learning. So, like, I'm happy to pay, whatever they ask. But yeah, I'd say yeah, those three things are definitely like the great program. It's a convenient location and value for money. Ooh. That's a really good one. I think first advice would be like look for school as early as possible. Daycare slots fill up really, really quickly. We got lucky with Kids Care because we were able to get him in at 15 months. They have very limited space spots for that. So that was definitely a blessing to be able to get him in earlier. But yeah, biggest advice: start looking early. A second thing that we found out worked out for us was try to find something. If you work outside of your home, try to find something closer to work, because kids will get sick and you will have to come pick them up, and you don't want to have to travel long distances. So it's easier if it's just close to where you'll be. Yeah.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.